All right, it's tomorrow. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have a hotel to go to, or motel to go to. We get there, and we check in, and the place is cavernous, inside bottom corner. And it's great. Tornado sirens start going off. Everybody's coming out of their doors to check on what's going on. I guess it's about 10 p.m. at this point, something like
Everybody
that.
but me.
Well, yeah.
Because at that point,
Because at that point, I've got this.
He's got it.
I'm checking on it already. She doesn't need to.
And not only that, at this point, I'm over everything. I'm like, now you're throwing on tornadoes, things. If I'm a die, I'm a die. That's it.
Yep.
I ain't got no... I
Right.
didn't have the energy for this. So
Yep.
I went to bed.
What did we say? Lord, you can't kill me with a tornado. I'm going to die here. I'm going to die here from finances. So we get through the night, and no tornadoes hit the hotel. It was just fun.
We were in the right place.
Yeah, we're in the right place, in the right part of town.
And I wake up that morning, and I felt so heavy. And in the feeling of heaviness that I have, I'm sitting there with it, and the Lord said to me, Shaniel, go apply the conflict, pull up the feelings chart, something that we use in Pink Flamingo University, and go apply the conflict navigation framework to what's going on right now with you. And I pulled up the feelings chart, and the words that were coming up for me were like depressed, scared, stiff, everything in the feeling, in the scared column almost like. Mm-hmm. And when I started looking at the beliefs behind that, the thoughts that were driving me in that moment, it's this thing is so messed up that I can't fix it. We feel alone. And the big one for me was, I remember seeing it and it was like, oh my Lord, it was, I am going to die here.
This was after the tornadoes even.
This is after the tornadoes.
We're done with tornadoes
the morning
at this point.
off. It's kind of like, wow. And so, I talk a lot about honesty, getting honest with the Lord, and how it's important that in order for us to be honest with the Lord, we have to be honest with ourselves. Because it would have been easy in that moment to keep the faith around, God, you're protecting us, etc. But the truth of the matter is, when you look down on what was happening with me emotionally and beliefs-wise, I didn't believe that. I thought God was screwing the heck up. And now it was getting so out of hand that I could not fix it. I genuinely thought God is going to kill me here. This was going to be the end of me here. We're going to run out of money. We're not going to have anywhere to sleep. We're going to be homeless. All of that stuff. That was all.
She kept forgetting we already are homeless at this point.
Oh, stop it. But we still had money. We can book an Airbnb. And I'm like, and it's a hard thing to want to be honest, want to trust the Lord and want to obey Him. But where He is guiding you to, everything in you is screaming that this is going to kill you. And it
felt pretty literal to you that night.
That morning. It did.
Yeah.
Like, I am going, like, I was playing, and I'm a planner, and I was playing out all the options in my head, and I could see the doors, the risk. The doors closing around risk management for these things so quickly.
Yeah. Which was the point of what God was doing in large part.
Yeah.
But man, it was not fun. Especially there was a like when God confirmed for me that morning, yeah, call and extend another day. I was sitting there going, okay, I mean, can do. And then start driving to the Grand Canyon. Okay, can do, will do. But am I just going to end up dropping off this car at the counter in Flagstaff and go, sorry, like, do whatever you want at this point? Because I'm like, we're not God has already told us, like, don't try and play any games. Don't try and finagle. That was the word that kept coming up for me. Don't try and finagle it. We're not trying to game the system. In the last video, we talked about sitting in the car almost at the rental counter, but I didn't really go into it. For me, I kept thinking, okay, well, that's one more day. How can I stretch our finances one more day? How can I stretch our finances 3 extra days? Okay, if we do it this way, that might buy us a couple of days. And God just laughed at me and said, Jeremy, you are not up against the system. If you're trying to game the system, you're up against me. Are you going to win? And I laughed back with him at myself. There's a lot of reflective laughing going on. And I said, no, you're right. Okay. I don't want to go up against you. That's not the point. I want to be fully within your will. I want to be doing and feeling and expressing and understanding and behaving the way you want me to. So this was yesterday at the rental counter was my, like, the biggest, like, that was the end of the biggest crisis for me. Once he said, this is the way we're doing it, I was like, okay, well, then it has to work out. I've always been kind of dumb like that. Things have always worked out. I guess I shouldn't talk it down, should I? I've always had a kind of trust that I didn't realize I had most of my life. But if God says it, then it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And am I hearing properly? Am I obeying? Okay, as long as those 2 conditions are met, then it's going to happen. Yeah. All right. So that was...
And then I think, and for me, it's the planner in me, the person who has always been figuring things out for herself, the survivor, the fighter.
I don't have much of that in me.
The one who trusts herself and trusts what she can see, and the one who likes to have the A to Z plan, or that previously would have God as like the Z, and now God was saying, let me be your B. Trust me. And not just trust me and let me be your A, not your B. Let me be your A.
He started with B and worked his way up to A.
I'm now at A with him. And he was like, you are used to planning things out, Shanielle. And taking this big leap and so forth because you plan things out and you know you've already estimated how things are going to work out. No, I'm telling you to do it step by step. Like, he reminded us from Jamaica, like, don't worry about tomorrow. Do the step that I tell you to do today.
Yeah.
Right? And that was, we were in that process of, that was what he was literally teaching us on a lower level. Like, trust me. Like, I tell you that you're my kids. I tell you that I'm a good father. I tell you I know the thoughts and the plans that I have towards you and that they're for your good. Trust me that I have it under control. Yeah. Right? And so it was, man, having to see that. I talked about the beliefs and realizing that was what was coming up in my head. I was able to admit that to God. Like, God, I am freaking scared here. Right? And to have him speak his truth into me around those situations, remind me of things that he has told me before, remind me of promises that he has made, remind me of what his word says, just remind me of that, right? So that encouraged me deeply, and I'm really glad that I obeyed him at that point to actually get honest about where I was actually at, and so forth, because man, that made the trip a whole lot easier, and then it would have been otherwise. And so
this trip was further difficult because I was trying to reconcile, and I was doing something in my head about well, we have to have some place to live regardless, so it might as well be settling in at the Grand Canyon, and trying not to think of it as purely frivolous. That was really difficult. God, are you being frivolous with us? Are you are you spending all this money it's not our money. I mean, it's yours. Everything that we have is yours. He really cemented that thoroughly with us, this trip to the Grand Canyon. But do you have something more substantial for us there? Is this just for fun? I was still struggling with the guilt and the worthiness elements around that, around spending money just for fun.
Yeah, and not only that, like, oh God, there must be some big mission that you're going to send us.
There has to be a deep spiritual point to this.
Yeah.
There was, because there always is, but it's not. It wasn't something where we were sent to minister to
somebody else.
Right.
It was about what he was doing within us and our relationship with him.
Yeah.
And so forth.
And with each other too.
And with each other.
I mean, I guess you can't avoid that part.
Right?
That was pretty wonderful.
So he got to see me in all of this.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't seen me in all of this before, a different version of it and all that.
But this was a really intense time for us. This was incredibly intense. And we checked out and got on the road to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, you had your class, you had the voyage call, and that was very illuminating for me. And then we left on the road for the Grand Canyon. And we will tell you.
Oh, yeah. We sat in the hotel parking lot after late checkout and had the call. Right. We're very bad at checking out on time. I call for late checkout every single time. Yep.
I must say though, Jeremy Pope has now reached a part where he is leaving on time.
Well, leaving on time for whenever we decide to leave.
Yeah, but
we don't like to leave early.
He's packed and ready to go, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to you, baby. So the next video will tell you about what happened on that trip to the Grand Canyon. And
it was remarkable.
It was remarkable.
It was the most amazing stuff yet.
Yeah.
And some of the most intense stuff so far.
And some of the most intense stuff and some of the most I broke down stuff. But we'll tell you all about that in the next video. Love you all.